Shalom. I'd like to start out by giving all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rakach Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect of Israel. This is Thamayim in Atlanta, and I've got this article pulled up. It's on naturalnews.com, and it says Mike Adams, this is a quote from Mike Adams, Trump and RFK Jr. are not enough to prevent the collapse of the U.S. empire. And Mike Adams is correct on this, because the fate or the destiny of the United States is destruction. It's built up off of lies, murder, and robbery. So it should expect destruction to come onto it, which is very obvious. This is built off of all this negative energy. Then what do you expect to come? Something positive? No, you can't turn that around. This place has to be destroyed, and it will be destroyed, and it's Bible prophecy that it will be destroyed. The coming of the righteous kingdom of heaven hinges on the destruction of the wicked kingdom of Babylon, or the kingdom of Edom, the Edomites' kingdom of heaven. That has to fall for the kingdom of heaven to rise. And just on nature itself, something this wicked can't just continue to be established. It has to be destroyed, and it will be destroyed. But getting into the article, it says even men with the best intentions, such as President-elect Donald Trump and Robert F. Kennedy Jr., cannot prevent the eventual collapse of the U.S. empire. And that is for certain. It does collapse. The Health Ranger, Mike Adams, issued this warning during a recent edition of the Health Ranger Report. Even if new people are placed in federal government under a second Trump administration, the U.S. empire is done. And recently, Apostle Tahar is going into the average lifespan of an empire, and it being 250 years, with America being right there. Slovakia, excuse me. With America being right there at 248 years. So we're already there. We're watching the collapse in real time, and it's going to collapse. There's too much that's already been done, especially economics wise and geopolitically, for this place to actually continue. It says the dollar is going to collapse, and that's a for certain, because it's on fiat currency. Fiat currency has an average lifetime as well. I want to say it's somewhere around 35 to 40 years, and America's already in overtime with that, with the currency. It says the reputation of the U.S. empire globally is in the garbage, and that goes into the Lord lifting the skirts on Babylon, in which he is definitely doing that. He's showing that all of the dirty laundry on the U.S. He's showing them keep up with colonizers over there in the land of the Lord. He's showing the dirty history of the U.S. and how they took this land from Gad, the so-called Native Americans. He's showing the world what they did with the southern kingdom, the so-called Negroes over here during slavery, and all of these just unrighteous things that they've done economically, socially, just throughout the world. They've touched everyone, and it's time for the U.S. to fall, which it's going to. And that also makes me want to go to scripture, which I've got pulled up. Nahum 3 and verse 5. It says, "Behold, I am against thee, saith the Lord of hosts," and that being against America, against Babylon the Great, this well-favored harlot. It says, "And I will lift thy skirts upon thy face, So this is showing exposure. He's exposing their private parts. And these are things that they didn't want the other nations to see, but things in which they have done and can't really hide anymore. And it says, "And I will show the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame." And nakedness goes into sin. And Babylon the Great certainly has sinned, and these sins are being showed unto the different nations. And it's having a shaming effect. It's having a shaming effect on both America and the people that run America, which are the Edomites, so-called white people. They're being shamed right now, and they know it. That's why they're always saying things like, "It's okay to be white," and stuff like that, because it's really not. They've done a lot of terrible things, and we're at the point of them being judged by it. But back to the article. It says, "The reputation," and that's what we were just going into, "of the U.S. empire globally is in the garbage." And that's from exactly what's here. The nation seeing the nakedness of Babylon the Great, of the U.S. It says the U.S. empire has lost its moral high ground, which it never had. It just made that up and basically controlled the narrative to pretend like they were actually morally upright, and they held the Bible and pretended like that was their book. But that's all not true. They're the basest of men. It says the U.S. empire has lost its moral high ground partially by funding Israel, which those are more Edomites over there. They're not the descendants of Jacob. It says this is all connected, but also by the fact that the U.S. empire has not been a legitimate government since the 2020 election rigging, he said. That's more of showing the nations the shame, because that's a shame for them to be rigging an election. And it shows that, also helps us show that they do this around the globe too, through their CIA, so that they can install puppet leaders, which is something that they do. And it says, and as that comes to an end, especially as the U.S. currency becomes irrelevant, we will go into a phase of massive money printing, hyperinflation, followed by currency collapse and the dissolution of the centralized government in Washington, D.C. And so we got to go to James, because this dollar is going to collapse. And it's coming. Oops, Salakia, James 5. James 5 and 1. "Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you." So the Lord is saying, yeah, this dollar is going to collapse. Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten. Showing the dissolution of this economy. It's all going down. It's got holes. It's tattered. Verse 3, "Your gold and your silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Ye have heaped treasure together for the last days." And yeah, this fractional reserve currency, or this form of banking, it's evil, and it's unrighteous, and it's about to fall. That's why they're trying to really destroy the US dollar, so that they could go ahead and set up this digital currency system, and then in that way they won't look like complete frauds when they establish something new. But as the Lord said, he's going to show the nations thy nakedness and thy shame. They're going to see the wickedness that they've been doing. Moving on, it says, and as that comes to an end, especially as the U.S. currency becomes irrelevant, which we just read that, skipping down a little more. It says, throughout his first term and his campaign leading to his second election victory, Trump has been an advocate of draining the swamp, dismantling the deep state bureaucracy, which you got to say those are lies. he's a part of that. He completely supports that small territory in the Middle East that is the Lord's land. He supports what those Israelis are doing and their influence within the U.S. government, which is really treasonous. But, the MAGA folks aren't going to talk about that. But he's a part of the swamp, basically, because Israel should have nothing to do with the U.S., but they have their people that they've positioned within the U.S. government. It says, dismantling the deep state bureaucracy. The only way to dismantle it, however, is through the total defunding of the federal government, something that is going to happen organically. But Adams warned that Trump could find himself president of nothing before America could fall apart. And that's the Edomite's fate. They're going to be the kings of nothing. Because this place is all going to be judged, and they're going to be judged as well. Adams expressed hope that the president-elect won't get swayed by the deep state fakers and backstabbers like what happened in his first administration. He also expressed optimism that Kennedy will be put in a position of authority to choose people and reform America's federal agencies. It is only total collapse of the system that will end the reign of terror of the U.S. empire. But Kennedy will do his best. Trump, I believe, will do his best. And that's all, hope for nothing. America does not get to continue. This is its downfall, and we're watching its downfall. And it deserves to have a downfall. It's done too much, and it needs to fall. People's minds are corrupted because this place exists. People's lands are corrupted, their bodies are corrupted. Everything is corrupted from the philosophies of the West and the philosophies of the Edomites. America has to be put out of the earth as well as those Edomites. And that's the only way to move forward. This is Jeremiah 51 and verse 8. Babylon being the United States of America, who they were just talking about in that article, is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain. If so be, she may be healed. That balm is going into ointment, something to heal a infection or a sore, whatever you might have, to make it better. But there's no balm, there's no ointment, there's no medicine that could possibly heal this sick and deprived nation. It has to die. It says, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go every one into his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies, because it has done too much. It's shed too much blood here, and that's got to be cleansed. It has polluted too much, and the people that did that have to be destroyed. It has enslaved too much, and so they have to be enslaved. It's just over and over, multiple things, multitudes and multitudes, like in the Valley of Decision. There's multitudes of sins which have to be accounted for, and it leaves no space for Babylon to keep continuing. Trump and Kennedy cannot do anything to heal this place. There's no type of economic bomb that will work for them. There's no type of financial medicine. There's no anything that is going to fix this place. There's no spiritual band-aid to put the division of the people here back together. It's just not going to work. And really, they should just be realizing this and moving out of the way instead of trying to heal this place, which they're not going to do. But nonetheless, it's not going to work. They're wasting their time. This is Isaiah 47 and verse 1. It says, come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. That virgin going into never been touched or penetrated by a man, but in this case we're talking about lands, so it's never been touched or penetrated by an enemy army, that being the US. To sit on the ground, it's going into confusion. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate, because you're about to be penetrated and destroyed, smashed. Verse 2, it says, take the millstones and grind meal, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. Take the millstones and grind meal, because they're working to try to heal this place, but they can't. And uncover thy locks, like this is all exposure. The Lord is exposing them, just as in Nahum 3 and 5. To the nations, they're being exposed in shame. It says, thy nakedness shall be uncovered, all those vast sins that they have committed. Yeah, thy shames shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. Because our deliverer, our redeemer, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh is coming back in a godlike form, and he's coming to make war with the Edomites first and foremost. And the Edomites run Babylon the Great, or the US of A. And their judgments are intertwined, both leading to destruction. And I'll get to verse 4, as I mentioned. And as for our Redeemer, the Lord of hosts, Lord of armies, is his name, the Holy One of Israel. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel. Then I want to skip down to verse 12. It says, stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. And you could just look at the dollar, the US dollar. It's basically just a bunch of witchcraft. It looks like a talisman or something, with all these little enchantments built into it. This place is built off of that, off of witchcraft and sorcery. Look at the layout of Washington, D.C. and all the Masonic trinkets within it, how the streets are even organized. All those owls, all those pyramids, all these just wickedness all throughout it. Go back to that. You look at at Hollywood and all those pyramids that are intertwined within the movies, and different enchantments that are there, and all this Satanism and Luciferian symbols. Yeah, stand with that. Maybe that stuff will actually help you, because that's how they built this place up, off of witchcraft. Masons are just witches that publicly show themselves as being good people, but they're just witches. And you look at the founding fathers, and those were all, it's just a group of Masons, a group of witches, a whole coven that created this place. And so stand with that. Maybe it'll help you. But going back, it says, stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. So from the get-go of America, and from the get-go of the Edomites, they've always been into wicked things. But it says, if so be thou shalt be able to profit, if so be thou mayest prevail. But it is not going to happen. He would have healed Babylon if it was possible, but he can't heal Babylon. And skip down to 14. And it says, behold, they shall be as stubble, the fire shall burn them, and they shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame. There shall not be a coal to warm at, nor fire to sit before it. Thus shall they be unto thee, with whom thou hast labored, even thy merchants from thy youth. They shall wander every one to his quarter, none shall save thee. So there's no salvation for Babylon. It's going to be nuked with ICBMs from the other nations and from some of the NATO allies. America is doomed, and there's nothing that Trump can do or Kennedy could do or any other candidate or person can do. Its manifest destiny is destruction, and it's coming. And so, Lord willing, that was edifying. I'd like to give all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect of Israel. Shalom.